Well, another thing about Obamacare, a lot of people don't realize is that now this is according to NBC now. So, you know, the NBC, the major media, they say they predict that all Americans will receive a microchip implant in 2017 per Obamacare. So it is about total control. You know, that's not the conspiracy people that are trying to scare people and everything. It's coming from NBC. So, you know, you could say the major media is BS, but, you know, normally they don't delve into conspiracies or trying to scare people. They're just stating it as a fact. So, it is about total control. And, you know, they show that, you know, research by the Manhattan Institute documents are an average insurance rate premiums will rise by 99%, you know, double for men, and 62% for women under Obamacare, almost 2/3. So that's going to be the increase. And, you know, actually, I think a lot of people are going to fall for it hook, line, and sinker because, you know, who the hell knows? You can put your Bitcoin wallet in your microchip, right? And you got your electronic money, huh? That's great. Anyway, not me. I don't want that stuff. But anyway, you know, we know the Obama administration lied to the American people about, you know, claiming they can keep its existing health insurance plan and stuff like that. And we know that happened. But, you know, here's a winger here. It says numerous analysts have concluded that the complete train wreck, you know, when they launched the system, it was like a total disaster. It says it was, in fact, designed to fail. The reason is because they wanted to avoid a sudden backlash from Americans irate at the massive premium increases because it's going to basically double for men and almost go up almost 2/3 for women. So how's that? You know, so they really wanted this to fail immediately to kind of like delay it a little bit, but they're still going to get it through. And actually, if you really want to push this back, and I think a lot of people aren't going to do nothing about it. I notice people. The only thing they worry about is how much is it going to cost them. If they're getting something for nothing, they don't give a damn about controls and all this kind of stuff. But the one thing is, you should worry about controls because when you enroll in Obamacare, you're also putting all your private information at the mercy of hackers. You know, for one, the NSA spies. You have your IP addresses recorded. You got your social security numbers, private bank details, and employer details, email address, password. Everything's being uploaded into this system that doesn't even work. So if you got faith in the security of this system, but even if it's secure, the old Roman saying is, who watches the watchers? In other words, that's the whole reason behind, the American way, limited government, checks and balances, division of power. It basically, government that governs least is, the ones that governs best, right? Now, here's the big clincher, though, with Obamacare, too. This is where the people aren't even thinking about this because it set extremely dangerous precedent. It says that thanks to last year's Supreme Court ruling, the federal government now has the power to force Americans to purchase private goods and services. Really, that's what they're doing, right? It's not, well, they could say social costs, but I guess you could force you to actually pay for the cost of air. We got a social cost. Anything, right? Anything. And, I go over a lot of different things on the health videos, but, I am very cautious about this alternative health stuff because I don't like blowing it up out of proportion. I think it's got a lot of merit, but, actually this would save a lot of money in the American problems with healthcare because, not that you would throw out everything that's traditional, but if you supplement some of the things with some of the plants and nature, but we do know it's a big racket, it's all about money, but this is more than money. Obamacare is more than money. The microchip is coming. That's per NBC in 2017. So, I tell you what, man, and I'm going to say this because I get kind of annoyed at some of this stuff where they throw, I shouldn't even, well, I'm going to interject it in here because I get kind of annoyed at some of this stuff where they throw all this dirt at the Jewish conspiracies out there, trying to control the world, and you have these Brother Nathaniel and stuff like that. I got news for you, man. There's a lot of Christians that are kind of going along with this stuff, and even if they don't go along with it, they just say it's written in the Bible and there's nothing you can do about it, but God will fix it. So, I got something to say to Brother Nathaniel about some of these guys. He got nailed on a cross, man, right? So it means if you got to take a little bit of sacrifice to knock this evil system back, that's a true Christian. That's a true Christian. If you're a true Christian. But the thing is, you don't have to be a Christian to actually see the evil of this. And, Jews don't like this too. I think a lot of them don't like this. I think they like the idea of, helping everybody. But, I'm getting tired of this stuff about these Jewish conspiracy theories out there. So I think I ought to mention that, because after a while it's getting to be ridiculous, because I'm realizing now they're getting set up to the max. Man, I know it. People disagree with that shit, but I know what's going on, man. I'm pretty sure of it anyway. Obamacare provides the IRS with new justification to hunt down Americans deemed to be invading the new system. So basically, you got to pay it whether you make a penny or not, right? So if you don't even make any money, you got to pay it. So if you decide to go, live in the mountains or something off the land, you're still going to be forced to pay Obamacare when they catch up to you finally, right? When a black helicopter lands on your, lakeside cabin or something, So you owe $1 million because whatever the hell it is. I don't know, whatever the hell you would owe. And also, this is actually killing employment. And many businesses are actually firing workers and scaling back. Yeah, actually, this is where I guess Walmart's one of the big employers in the country. And a lot of people that work for Walmart are getting food stamps and stuff like that because they deliberately cut back their hours so that they don't have to, pay extra benefits as mandated by law. So, but this is actually going on with all the employers, so it's actually not helping the economy at all. And other small businesses have just chosen to close down entirely. So, but of course we have the numbers coming out from Chicago that the primary manufacturing index grew like the biggest it did in 30 years, up to 65.9 recently. And we just broke all these records in adding new jobs, supposedly, too. So, but, the big thing on this story is basically two things. One is the microchip. And, I'd be being facetious about the Bitcoin. I don't buy into that Bitcoin stuff. Not now. I mean, I wish I got it. But, you can put your Bitcoin money in your microchip. That'd be great, right? I mean, it's real secure. But anyway, you're going to be forced to have a microchip in 2017. That's per NBC. So they're not trying to scare people. They're not the type that tries to scare people. They're just pointing it out as a fact. And the other thing is, since this is a private good and service, you're forced to buy this, whether you live up in the mountains in, the Ozarks or something like that, away from everything, you're still going to be required to buy and pay for Obamacare. So basically, this is the first time the Supreme Court ruling has now said that, the government could force people to buy private goods and services. So it's a load of shit, basically. That's all I got to tell you. And, it's something that people should be fighting back on. And, I'm not against universal health care at all, but actually, I guess, some of the medicinal plants and stuff like that out there would go a lot further to universal health care. But, I actually started looking, I'm experimenting, as you know, on some, I don't know who the hell is, watching this video, but if you look at some other videos about the Lakhovsky coil, and I'm going to point to a couple links in the info box. Actually, that might be one of the best things going for, helping to heal people with various ailments, because it just works by strengthening the body, supposedly. Actually, nothing the doctor gives you really heals something. It's the body heals. It's actually the medicines knock down the problem. That's really what happens. And what's going on with the Lakhovsky coil Because, I'm looking at things because, when came about with this Obamacare because there's a crisis in the healthcare where it's costing too much money. Now, I know there's a big bunch of rip-off artists out there in the medical world, that just have to make gazillions of dollars to read graphs and shit like that. It's a lucrative field. But, you got to remember there's other things out there that can probably drive these costs down through herbal plants could be part of it. Not to replace everything, but as an adjunct to other things. Actually, most medicines came from, I think practically all of them came from herbal plants. It's like, they synthesized what was in the plant itself to make the medicine. Like a famous case would be aspirin came from white willow bark. They used to prescribe white willow bark for headaches, that was where aspirin came from, right? So, they're not really looking to drive down costs. They're actually looking to control people. So I got to say something to the religious out there. Don't stick your head in a hole. And you're going to have to be like, fight back. And I think he didn't fight back enough. Well, I don't know what he was supposed to do. But, I don't know about all this stuff, to tell you the truth. But let me put it to you this way. Just plain common sense 101 on the surface. You could see this as basically like, the evil people on the top are trying to control the masses through this garbage. And if you want to see that if you can't see that as unjust, I don't know what you can see as unjust, but people are going to have to fight back about this. I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly what the methods are. People can bitch and moan, but it looks like the powers that be are trying to do this and that. But there's always ways to fight back. There's always ways to fight back. And, the problem where they're presenting this Obamacare, where there's like not enough health care, universal health care for people, which is a great idea, it probably could be supplied to people through better ways of using the medicinal plants. Because, we have we have computers today. We can look up, all the medicinal plants that have been used throughout the ages, where they kind of cross-reference if it's been used in, India, it's been used in China, it's been used in Greece, it's been used in France and Italy and UK, also by American Indians, Aztec Indians, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And if you find a lot of these herbs used by all these different cultures, you could actually say, well, it's probably pretty damn effective. And that could drop the cost a lot. That could drop the cost a lot for instead of, expensive prescription medicines all the time in every case. And, use the prescription medicines as a last resort. And the other thing is, these electronic means of possibly helping to, slow down disease or help with it or assist the body. Some of the blood electrification unit by Bob Beck is somewhat effective on some things, I think. It's not what he said it was. He's not a cure-all. But it's I think it does a little bit of good. And that can that's a very cost-effective method if, doctors want to evaluate it for real. And, the other thing is, I think the Lakhovsky coil, because that was actually used in the hospitals for a number of years. So we actually have the solution to, giving cheap, affordable health care to everybody. We do. I think we do. And it's just that you have to use other approaches. And these it's just like every damn thing, because there's allegedly people out there that found much cheaper sources of energy, more efficient ways of energy. And I know people say, oh, no. But, it's almost like the hemp and the marijuana plant stuff, like the industrial hemp and the cannabis healing plant. That's absolute proof to me that there is some type of conspiracy to hold back things and keep the entrenched racket in place. Because, without getting too technological on anything or too complicated, cannabis was a medicine used in practically everything up until the 1930s when they made it illegal by the Marijuana Tax Stamp Act, whatever it was. And industrial hemp was basically was going to come on strong in the scene because of, they had a new type of machine out there that could separate the hemp fiber from the hemp, which was going to provide fuel and everything like that. And Produces 10 times the amount of fuel as for gasoline and corn and stuff. So there is, when you're just keeping things real simple without trying to get into, the stellar Tesla free energy and, 0 point energy and stuff, just keeping some things simple. There are some simple solutions out there, and they keep them outlawed because that keeps the entrenched racket in business. And, pharmaceutical and the oil industry and Rockefeller and all that is, if you look back to the Flexner Report in 1913, you could see where it all came from. Basically, a lot of it came from. So, this is dangerous stuff. So, it's going to another step beyond, we think we have a revolution going on here with alternative medicine, possibly. And I don't like calling it alternative, but going back to the roots of medicine, and maybe some of the medicine that was more Tesla inspired. We think we have a revolution going on, and at the same time, we got something coming up where we're probably going to be all microchipped by 2017, and also we have a precedent where the government can force us to buy private goods and services. Bad news, bad news. So, it's got to be fought back. That's all I got to say. It's got to be fought back all the way. And, if you give them an earful every freaking time, if there's a gazillion people telling them, screw you, this is a bunch of bullshit, they will back off. The trouble is, I think a lot of people are very lethargic, and they think, what am I getting for nothing? And you probably ain't getting nothing for nothing. That's the problem. You think you are, but you probably aren't, because they got you like, they put the hook out there and they got you like a fish and they're going to reel you in. So that's not cool, man. That's not cool. So just be aware of what's coming up, because Obamacare's got a lot more badness in it than you think. The microchip is being warned to us by NBC. And, that's a religious thing. That's a religious thing. It's in the Bible. And, if you're going to depend upon Jesus coming again to rescue everybody, that may happen. But, in the meantime, you should take some action against this kind of garbage. Because sometimes I think with religion, it's a cop-out. It's almost like, well, there's nothing you can do about it, so because it's in the Bible and it's written, so you do nothing. And that ain't good either. So just want to point that out. So that's my beef with religion sometimes. Anyway, bad stuff coming up. Just want to warn about it. I don't want people getting depressed about it, because if we fight back, we're cool, right? That's the deal.